Hello there! Today we'll be creating a fun little science/art piece as we explore pendulum art. But before we get into it, if you love art, then you might like to have a look at the other lessons at our website at www.montmart.net, because we have many more there, as well as links to our Facebook and Instagram pages and to our art club, The Creative Connection. So let's create some pendulum art. The first thing to do is to create a background. Although the pattern from the pendulum is the star of the piece, the background still needs to be of interest too. So I thickly apply some purple dimension acrylic with a 50mm Montmart heavy duty hog bristle brush. I make consistent shapes to make as much texture as I can. This is important for the next dry brushing stage. For this, I use the colours Pearl Sapphire, Pearl Purple and Pearl Wine Red, all in dimension acrylic. I charge my brush sparsely and scrub this into the top left-hand corner and work diagonally approximately 1/3 of the way across the canvas. The secret to dry brushing is to charge the brush very lightly and apply a minimal amount of paint to the canvas. Because there is texture on the base coat, the colour doesn't come into contact with the low points of the purple. Next I apply the Pearl Purple. I take it into the blue slightly so there is a sort of transition and keep the brush moving quickly. Vary the angle of the brush strokes also. Although I'm just creating a busy background, dry brushing is a very useful technique to master and can be used to suggest clouds, smoke, surface shine and sheer fabric, just to name a few uses for this technique. Add spots of the adjacent colour randomly through the colour you are laying down. The primary objective is to create an inconsistent surface. The last third of the canvas is the wine red. I apply this in the same way as the other two were, but as red is a much stronger pigment, I am fairly frugal with the application. So that's the background done. While this dries, I can get the rest of the bits and pieces together for the pendulum part of the project. The first thing I need is the pendulum, and this will also be the paint dispenser. In this case, an empty 1 litre glue container. But if your project is smaller, obviously use a smaller container. I clean the excess glue out of it, mark up a semicircular shape and cut it out with a hobby knife. Exercise extreme caution when using a hobby knife, and I will say that on no accounts should a hobby knife be used by a non-adult. Once the hole has been cut, I screw the tip back on and connect a folding bulldog clip to the edge of the hole. This will be how I attach the pendulum to the string. The connection method you use will depend on the ceiling. The one in my studio is the suspended type, so I create a loop with wire, but a cup hook would work for a timber ceiling, or a gyprock drywall anchor for this type would work also. Any sort of string will work as long as it is robust enough to support the pendulum. Remember, a litre of paint can weigh over a kilo. I then tie the string to the anchor point and then mix up my paint. Start with 2 litres of flow medium. If you would like to see how to make your own flow medium, then check out our How to Create Fluid Art lesson, as it is outlined in there. I then add 2 parts of dimension acrylic paint, in this case white. I'm doing a number of large canvases, so I'm going to mix up a fair amount. It is very important to thoroughly mix it. Once that's all well mixed, I add 1 part water and again mix it thoroughly until there is absolutely no lumps. Now we can set up for the painting. Take the canvas and place it on the floor. Ensure that when it is placed in position, the pendulum is in the middle of the canvas. This central point is called the equilibrium or resting position. This project works because when a pendulum is displaced sideways from the resting point, it is subject to a restoring force due to gravity. That will accelerate it back toward the equilibrium position. In our case, emitting a trail of paint to document its cycle. I tie the pendulum to the string so that its tip is 1 centimetre from the canvas and fill the pendulum vessel with the paint mixture. You will notice I have a jar to catch any paint that might seep through the tip. So this is optional, but while the paint was still open, we decided to sprinkle some silver glitter over the piece to provide a little more flair. This is from the Montmartre Face and Body range. Hope you enjoyed our little experiment. Stay tuned and see you next time!